Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Monday evening, night almost connection, wherever you are. And we've been hosting a beautiful place. Those of you who are not here cannot see it. I'm not going to share details, but it's beautiful. Thank you so much for hosting us. And and we would like to share. Obviously, we entered spiritually to another realm. It's called the new moon of Pisces. From the lunar calendar, we know there are 2 months of called Adar, which is Pisces, and we know that within this month, it's the energy that exists is miracles, because in that month we know that a miracle occurred. So we know that we're not going by Kabbalistically, we're not celebrating any holiday or any miracle because a miracle happened in this month. This month is prepared to give miracles to people. Therefore, we're connecting into the energy of miracle. So whoever know how to draw or how to connect to miracles in this month and the miracle that they need, obviously can more likely connect much faster in this month than any other time. Now, again, there's many things. It speaks about a lot of energy of happiness that exists in this month. But the majority gift that is in this 2 months, the next 60 days, okay, we entered probably just a couple of days in, is what we call that the month of Adar, the month of Pisces, called Adar in the lunar calendar, is represent what we call the Adar. It comes from the word Idra. Idra is the spine, our spine, okay? And in this month, we know that the entire, because this is, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac, right? Before the year starts. So we know that it's everything dependent on this month. The whole year, all this month, are almost like hooked like to the spine. And without the spine, you cannot really bring light and energy to the rest of the year, the rest of the month. So what do you want to connect in this month, the next 60 days, every day? Just to remind yourself, what's available in the next 60 days is to strengthen your backbone. For example, how do we know we don't have a strong backbone? How easy or how hard is it for us to say no to someone? Everyone have problem there. Everyone. There's no single person that cannot say no, right? It's the difficult, right? So difficult to say no. And that is, again, just a hint of how our backbone is not solid. We will backflip for people, and we will let people step on us as much as they need. And eventually we come out to air, right? This is not strength. This is not strength. You don't need to be destroyed in order to help people. You don't need to be destroyed in order to be in a good relationship with somebody. It has to be healthy building. This is this month. Is how you view yourself, how you view your life. This is what you need to go internally. This week, it's a beautiful elevation. In this month, you're going to have each one of those weeks elevating another step and another step. The next 4 or 5 weeks, 4 weeks probably. More than that, it's a beautiful tea, by the way. It's not yeah, it's good. So in the next few weeks, right? This portion is Truma. Then you have few others, that are Tetzaveh, and so the names doesn't make a difference right now. But each one of those portions speaks about the building of the Mishkan. The Mishkan represents the tabernacle. It's a structure, it's a wooden structure that was built in the desert by the wood, the trees, right? The wood and the trees that Abraham planted on the way to Egypt few hundred years ago, before they had to come back. So just to understand, these are trees we call Atzei Shittim. We're going to speak a little bit about it. But The whole explanation, the whole portion is a lot of details. A lot of details that some of them, I mean, if you're an architect, if you are, a scholar, they want to know the details of the how many and what the length and what's the weight and what's the structure. That's for you, this portion. Other than that, it's absolutely boring details. For me, at least, that I'm not interested in all those details. You sort through the details and you realize it's nothing to do with the building of a structure. Each one of these weeks, next week, it's a building of the internal structure of your temple. Each one of us need to build that structure. And now today we don't have the temple and we don't have the tabernacle. Tabernacle is like what we call a structure where they could do worship, when they connect, when they pray. This is the structure that they created that traveled with them in the desert. Later on, it was positioned in the holiest of the holiest in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Right? That was traveled from the desert. Why is important, this idea? Because today we don't have the temple. Today we are not in the desert. So what do I need to read about it? The actual reading about it, as according to the Kabbalah, is the actual connection to your internal structure. Each one of us have a holy temple inside of us. The problem is none of us feel it. None of us connect to it. None of us use it. None of us use it. So I had a question this week, and I thought maybe to ask you. It doesn't mean you need to answer right now, just to at least to awaken that question for you. If you were in charge, or those of you home or in the Zoom, if you were in charge of building a temple, what material would you use? What type of temple would you build? What will be the use of that temple? Who can come? Who cannot come? Let's say you are King Solomon that built the temple, with obviously King David as well, served in that time. So how would you do that? What's the structure? What's the vision? Right? You are in charge of building a temple. So first of all, you should know that our temple, our internal temple, each one of you has to have it as a structure, built-in structure. But that spiritual structure is concealed even from us until we come to a place, to a moment that we're going to use that temple the way it should. The way it should. Only then you get access. Only then you're going to understand the holiness, the preciousness of you, who you are. Because it's so easy to put ourselves down. It's so easy to go down on ourselves and beat ourselves. It's the easiest way. I found people think it's actually making something. Do nothing to you. Every time you beat yourself, every time you hate yourself, every time you destroy yourself, you even push yourself away from your holy temple. It's internal. And it's a state of mind and a state of behavior and a state of way of thinking that allow you to slowly open the doors of the temples for others. You know in your life, you have people in your life that maybe one can enter to that holiest of the holiest. You're not everybody. Yeah, I love everybody. Like I like it when, I go let's say you're going to go to a concert, right? Recently I went to a concert and the performance, standing there, there's 40,000 people. I love you. You really love me? You don't even know me. Yeah, in a way of sending love or saying I love you, maybe it's a nice thing, but really, that performance, maybe have one person that you actually love and bring in, right? So what is this I love you, right? It's come from that place. It comes from that place of holiness and love and purity that we have that temple. But most of the time we are not connected to it. So again, every time you beat yourself, every time you destroying your spirit, you get step away from your temple, from your revelations. And again, from the ability to use that tool that's been given to us in creation of the world. So I'll give you a couple of steps. Again, please ask yourself, what type of temple you're going to build? Later on, sit with that, maybe write some stuff about it for you. What type of temple? So one is to know, step number one is to know, this portion is teaching us, all the structure, the Kabbalah said, all the structure here. I had to run through all this structure to understand, but it's a lot of details, but it's just amazing that each one of those things are necessary to our spiritual path. So one is to know I have each one of us. Again, if I have a temple, for sure the person you don't like also have a temple. Right? The people who bother you, no, they don't have. They have a whole garbage going on in their life. Me, I have a temple. Oh, it can't be that what you have, the other person don't have. Okay, so step number one is to know that us and the people around us, every person in the world, have that temple. Do they have access or not? That's something else. That's step number one. Step number two, you are not permitted to go to the temple. Like we know, back then, it was only one person was allowed. The high priest was allowed to go into the temple. Are you a high priest? Technically, yes. To your life, you consider to be, the high priest. Right? Without that, you cannot enter. So you have to become your high priest. What is a high priest? Again, this is something we're going to speak about. It's not like, you don't need those hats and gowns and all of those dresses, right? It's a state of mind. It's a consciousness, It's like there was an argument between all the organs of the body, right? So one of the Kabbalists always speaks about the argument between the leg and the eye, right? The eye says, without me, the legs cannot go anywhere, right? And the leg says, okay, the eye can see what they want, but I'm not going to take you to get you what you want, right? So who is important, right? It's a full engagement. Your body is a full engagement that meant to prepare you, to propel you, to excel you, to become the high priest. And together with the Holy Temple, you are unstoppable. Each one of us are unstoppable. Our love, our energy, our power, our wisdom can go more and more when they have that combination. So first of all, to know, I'm not allowed in my own temple for my own sake. Because imagine, 2 seconds ago, you thought so negative about yourself. You want to bring that impurity into your temple? That's what you want to do? They're not going to let you. There's going to be barriers to not let you. But once you're in, all your prayers are being answered. All your requests get louder and louder into this world. That is the structure. It's like the amplifier. This amplifier inside of us can only work when you become the priest of your life, and then you enter to the temple. I'm going to show you a few of the things, and then you amplify everything you do. Even the smallest level of, let's say, restriction that we do, or delay that we create, or pause that we have, create enormous amount of light. So that's step number 2. And also, by the way, you have to use that temple for the world, not just for me. Step number 3 is what brings me to a place that I need to start change the way I think. So I have to do what we call in this portion an internal change. An internal change in the structure, in the consciousness, in the way I draw thoughts, in the way I go tackle situation. There's got to be a change. Because if you're doing the same thing, you're always going to obviously get the same results, not different. And it says in this week, after he speaks and the Creator gives Moses the structure of how to build, he told him, make sure that when you build that temple, right, you tetzapenu mibait umichutz. So for example, I just want you to understand the request, which is, some of them makes no sense. So for example, here we have I see a piano, right? So I look at the outside of the piano. Let's say what he says, cover the entire piano with gold. But not enough, cover also the inside of the piano with gold. And while we said, wait a second, nobody ever will open that piano inside. Why do I need to spend all the people's money, take all the gold to cover something inside that nobody will ever see it? Right? It makes no sense. Cover it with gold and also inside. It's closed, it's firm, nobody gonna see it. It's a code. It's just a code for us. That what we're talking about, and whatever you inside changing, you also need to do external changes. A lot of people changing the outside, right? And not really the inside. You know how people say, one in the mouth, one in the, how you call it, that your mouth is not same of what's going on in your heart, right? Make sure that what is in your heart is also what you speak. And what's, like a lot of us, like outside, are very good in making changes outside. Everyone can come right now and wear yoga pants, and I'm like spiritual, right? Something like that. It is like, or I can buy I can rent a car, exclusive car, right? Like a luxury car for a day. And it's just for a day, right? And I can walk around and pretend I'm like this billionaire guy, right? I can? Of course I can. Look what I'm driving. Nobody will argue with you, right? So a lot of us are pretending or making external changes, but really not allow that change to take place internally. So that is also, how do I see when somebody starts changing the external? Also different environment. Change the people you're talking to. Like we spoke earlier in a second ago. Imagine if you meet somebody that you want to be in a relationship in a club, or you meet somebody in a Kabbalah session, right? Obviously, we said that the argument was about, of course, in a club, I'm not sure that everybody really, really want to connect, right? It's different consciousness. That's the environment. So I understand. That's why I'm getting who I met that person. But I'm coming to study deep. I want to connect deeper. Obviously, those people that are in that environment a little bit thinking deeper, thinking real. I want to be more real, right? Not to say that that's the idea, but obviously the environment is what the Kabbalah says. It's like the soil. You have a good seed, you put it in a bad soil, it's not going to grow. A good soil is a soil that see what you need. How can we help make it happen? That's a soil. That is a community. This is the environment that at least what I want to create. That each one of us will make sure that we take care of each other. What do you need? Somebody needs in our community, in our circle of help. Okay, go, help. What can we do? Right? It's a soil that always, what is the soil does? Mother Earth. You put a seed, Mother Earth says, let's make it grow. That's what Mother Earth. But if the soil is bad, no matter how the desire of Mother Earth to grow, it's not going to grow. It's going to grow bad. So remember, environment is very much a crucial change and transformation that can occur in your life. Because in a different environment, for example, I shared earlier in a class that imagine you are a very closed off person. And you're sitting with maybe 5 of your friends. And everybody open up like about something, really open up. you feel all of a sudden, you know what, I can share something personal. I feel, that, so the environment, right? The inertia, the energy allow you to open up, as opposed to an environment of people who only speak in bad. Do you feel open up? Then they're going to speak bad about what I told them, right? That's what's going to happen. So in the process of change and transformation, you also want to start be smart about what books you bring to your life, what people you bring to your life, what environment you insert yourself, right? What employees you bring to your business is also another important thing. What partnership you start. Who are the people? Who are they connected to? A lot of us don't even question because, they have the money? Okay, I'm going to do the deal. No, it's almost death sentence if you do that, if you don't question that. So again, the books, they also check when I'm empty. How do I get fulfillment? All of these questions and all of these changes allow you to start building mechanism of the holy priest, the high priest, and then the temple will be open. The doors of your temple will be open immediately. Again, this is the direction that we're talking about. So, the next step, it says that in Moshe, listening to Moses, listening to the Creator, and the Creator says, I'm going to show you how to structure that. Because I said before, if each one of us, because when I read it, I said to myself, you know what? Before I'm reading how the Creator showed Moses how to make the temple, I said, how would I create it? What would I do? How would I structure that? And the only thing that came to me, right, because of course I'm doing it for many years, that's why I'm a biased in a way, is that the only thing I would want to create is what the Creator give me as a vision. I want the vision directly from the Creator. I don't want anyone else to give me that. And I will sit and ask until the Creator give me the vision of how that should be. Talking about temple, because what is the nature of a holy temple? The holy temple in Jerusalem, the nature was, and still is if you, and again, it's something that the Zohar speaks about. When you look at the windows of the holy temples, you already know what the temple need to be used by the windows, because not everybody was able to get to the temple. Only certain people. The windows of the temple were inside were narrow, and outside was wide. You can look at it wider. So it's go like that from in. If you say, wait a second, it should be the opposite. Because if you do that, it's going the light that comes, the sunlight, gets shrink to more and more. You should make it small in the entrance and then wider inside, right? So the width of the light will be spread inside. To share with you that is completely the opposite. That the temple was meant to serve to bring light from inside to outside to the world. And if your temple inside is not even remotely closer to that consciousness, you are very, very, very far. Very far. It meant to share no light for me. Actually, almost zero light from me. And from me and out. That is when you start become a conduit. That's the idea. Now, we'll understand that a little bit deeper as we grow, but it says first, the verse that he's using, it says, ואת המשכן אני מראה אותך את תבנית המשכן. Now here the instruction was different. He didn't show him the actual Mishkan. Mishkan is the tabernacle, is that structure, right? But he says, I'm going to show you the tavnit, not the actual structure. What is tavnit? Tavnit is like the patterns of how to lead you into building it, or a form, or in the simple language is like a tray when you cook, when you bake a cake, right? That's called tavnit, right? You take a little this foil, a mold, right? A mold type of thing, and you put the dough and then the cake. Either it's circle, either it's square, or other shapes, right? If you need first to work on that level. In order to build a temple, you don't go directly to build a temple like my friend is doing, some architect, right? Before you building a building, what you're going to have? The plans, the blueprint. You see it. Now, you look at all those plans, like, I can't see a building. I see so many. Now, whoever can look at that can say, oh, this is the fire line, this is electric, this is water pipe, this is it. Look at it, I don't know. But in the beginning, you need to start working on your consciousness first. That is the mold. What is the mold? Consciousness, right? But you need to have a little bit what we call dimion, vision. You need a vision of who you are and how you are with this type of structure. Because a lot of us trying to visualize ourselves in maybe as a millionaire, right? How I'm going to be as a millionaire, or how I'm going to be as if I dress this way, or how I'm going to be. Different way of visualize ourselves, how we're going to be in relationship. Can you visualize yourself how you're going to be in relationship before you come into the relationship? It's almost impossible, but you can still decide to show up to the relationship no matter what. You can say it. You know what? I'm going to be in this relationship no matter what. I'm going with that all the way. You can. That's the structure. And that's where it's going to reveal. I'm going to show up to this relationship fully engaged and fully attentive. Can I decide it? Yes. Do I know how it's going to be? No. Do I know how it's going to? No. But I know I can create a vision of how I want to show up. You open a business. Before you open, you have to visualize what this business is going to be. How the people are going to be, how they enter, what they're coming in, what they're going to get, what they're going to hear, what music is going to play. People do that, right? That's creating a mold, a structure before I'm able to access to the actual plans, the actual action, right? So the Kabbalists refer to is start. Again, this is a very deeper aspect of Kabbalah, but it's important because this is what we're building. This week, there is access to your internal structure. So in order for us to start, understanding that or seeing that in action slowly and coming into life, you need to create a structure, meaning visualize a structure. The structure, the form, or the mold, as we said, or the pattern that it's going to lead us into building that, either you write on the paper, or even make a plan for your spiritual path, even for how many of you, some of us, even like in the end of the day or in the morning, we journaling, right? Why do we do that? Chances are that you never really actually get back to the journal to read. None of the people actually go back to a journal that when they were 12 or 15 or 16. Nobody goes. So why am I writing? I have never really went back to that. I have all my classes, I have all notes, millions. I never go back. I go create new one, right? So the idea is that the writing or visualizing or start working on creating a mold is to prepare ourselves. Is to prepare and also to launch to the universe. This is what we want to start living our life. How would I live my life, in relationship? So, for example, I'm just giving an example of relation because it's very difficult for people. They think, I'm always going to be patient with my relationship. Never work. But you can decide To be in a relationship, no matter what, I'm absolutely 100% with that person. Can I decide something like that? Absolutely. A lot of people starting relationship and thinking, let me check. One step in, one step out, one step in, one step out. You can dance like that for months and years with people, and then eventually you're wasting your time. Nothing happened. It's just it's imagine you bake a cake, you have the structure, you have the mold, you open the oven, you put the oven, let's take it out. You put it in, let's take it out. What? No, it's too hot, let's take it out. No, it's not rising. Nothing happened. And then you get frustrated, and then everybody's waiting. What's going on? Right? Again, we can say for relationship, for businesses, for ideas that we have, for taking the step and really stepping into the spiritual world, not just dabbling, and like, I'm still shopping around. Let's see what's better, I always said, you come to try Kabbalah. It's the same thing you try in other things. You just trying, you never really do it. Trying, it means I don't want to. Either you go for it, again, take the time, of course. But when you go for something, you cannot really get fully engaged if you're not absolute on that, if you're not going for it. So, in this week, I would recommend to take actions, again, after all what we spoke about, but I recommend to put it down this week with an action without the need to see results of that action. You understand? In Kabbalah we call it or bli kli, light without a vessel. What does it mean? I'm generating light, I'm taking an action, I'm moving, but I don't want something for me. A vessel represents I want something in return. Like you call it, like, for example, let's say you want to be connected to that holy temple inside of you, and I just want to share love. So let's take an action this week of love without the need for the person to agree, to give me back, to tap on the shoulder, without no return. Try it this week. And you will see how it feels. It feels like I'm worried what I'm going to do. They're going to think I'm this. They're going to think I'm that. Sometimes, let's say, I don't know, I have few guys, male, that are dating. And sometimes I tell them, listen, please don't go right away to physicality. Physical interaction. I even kiss, right? A lot of people throughout the year come back and say, I think they think I'm weird, and I didn't kiss them, I didn't say, why does it have to be? Or they expecting, you think they expect, you creating that in your mind. This is, if you are transparent, and if you are, if you're connected to your desire, it should be very clear for you. I want to get to know you before. I want to speak. Instead of like, they're expecting, so I need to do. Wait a second. There's a lot of that needs to be beforehand, build. You're building a structure. So I would say, it's like fake it until you make it, not too long. But do a few actions of like, pretend you are that until it's going to feel like, you know what? It feels right. Try a few things that, again, each one of us in our life, that's why I don't know what in each one of you dealing in your life, but that is very important to make some changes around that. The next thing is, because I said, if you're going to show the first couple of steps, then the Creator will show you the structure of your temple. Then, only then. I'm not moving until I'm going to see it. No. Even, let's say we are here in this apartment, it's the first time we are here, right? Even if you think that this place was built and structured only for us to come many, many years later to give that class in that place. Did you think this way before you came? No, but this is how we need to think. Because this moment, this class, this action that we're taking right now From this point on, we can literally change our life. Nobody stops you from this point. Nobody stops you. Anybody in the world can come. No, you can't be connected to a holiness. You can't generating life. No, it's not for you. Nobody gonna come. So think about it. That place is waiting for, I don't know, thousands of years for this moment to be revealed, to hear that information from this place, and continuing and now asking the Creator, now you can show me. Now you can show me the what is my structure, what is my strength to become connected to the temple within me. The last thing, there's two more, but let's keep it shorter. The building of the temple, the tabernacle, was building from a very specific tree. It's called Atzei Shittim. Shittim is, I even pull is mimosa tree. You know mimosa tree, right? Or they call it acacia, huh? Acacia. Yeah, it's the same family, right? These are the trees. Now I'm thinking, what's unique about the tree? And I'm thinking about what's unique about the tree. And I'm look, it's a beautiful tree, but why this tree? It's nothing to do with the tree. It's the name. Shita. It's a system. It's nothing to do with the type of tree. Shita, it means it's a system. You need to apply a system that works for thousands of years in order to structure that. For example, if you want to build in New York, there's a system how you can allow to build. If you want to build outside of New York, in New Jersey, there's a system of how to build. They ask you for different permits, they ask you for right? The structure, the beams and these, they hit. There has to be under wheels in the ground, that the building is moved. There's a system. I don't need that system if I live somewhere else. But as human being, if you are a human being, you consider yourself human being, you need a system to follow. And that's the Torah. Torah is not a Bible. Torah comes from the word hora'ah, a path. It's teaching you. It shows you what to do every step of the way that you need. This is what we need. Now, he says, you build an ark. The ark was built from these trees. What is the energy of the ark? If some people go, they don't understand. You go to any place, there is an ark, and over there the holy books are in the ark. And then every time they come and they open the ark and they bring the Torah or the holy books out. It's very nice. Religiously, people do it for thousands of years. Nobody asks why. Why can't it be just in a bag? Why can't I just come up with that in a bag? What's the problem? There's such a deep, beautiful understanding. Every time that ark is being opened, it releases to the universe, because the structure, what we call the energy of Beki'ah, the energy of breakthrough. Every person needs to have breakthrough in their life every single day. When was the last breakthrough you had? If you didn't have breakthrough right now with this now, you block. Nothing wrong with that. Just open yourself to that. But these are the structure that was built. Is a structure that is a building structure within us. You have the power to create breakthrough, yes or no? Did you do it in your life? Of course, you met many times. What a breakthrough, right? In an issue in relationship, in a business problem that occur, in something mentally, something emotional, in relationship, you had a breakthrough. With your parents, did you have breakthrough? If you're not, you probably don't talk to them, but you did. You can have breakthrough with your parents. That's what we need. But in order to create breakthrough, I need a shita, I need a system. I have a system. Why do I love what I'm doing? Because you follow a system that is really came down directly from the Creator to us. It's a system. It's how you go to sleep. It's what you think when that's happening. It's people say, "Wow, you robotic?" No, you are robotic if you're not following a system like that. You are repetitive. With the system, the Kabbalistic system, It's a path that gradually, never fast, gradually but very fast, slowly but so fast, take you to where you need to be in not wasting time and battling challenges is unnecessary challenges. So this is the second thing, because we learn in Kabbalah we have so many rules. People don't. Anybody like rules? Nobody likes rules. Nobody likes rules. But when you drive, those rules are protecting you, right? Protecting you, protecting others. This world have rules. Physics is not rules. Look how many rules they have. Ask scientists, they tell you millions of rules. Take your body. You take doctrine or take nutrition. They will tell you there's rules. You eat this, that's going to happen to you. Don't eat this. They're going to tell you there's rules. There's 4 elements of what is mean? 4 things. You have 7 of this. Oh, when it comes down to physicality and this way, people, yeah. But when you tell them, listen, every spiritual law that you learn, I just taught you right now, maybe 5 of them, you don't even know. Light without a vessel is a huge law, right? But what is that law? Every spiritual law, it's a spiritual muscle that you can handle way more pressure, way more strength, way more ability to use your temple for the world. Without fear, without insecurity, that you need muscles. So that's why we're learning a system. We're learning a system, a shita, that teaching us that gradually you're going to grow and you're going to get there. The last thing is from the word truma. I will make it quicker. Truma is giving, is charity. The word truma, the name of the portion. But it's also a code. Tarum hey. You separate the letter hey, the last letter in the word truma, represent this physical world. Represent our physical body. Represent everything that is attached to physicality. And what it says to you? He says, if you want the Creator to elevate you, you need to be the initiator. Elevate yourself from the miserable place you put yourself into. Nobody else will come and save you. Nobody gonna come and miraculously, oh, I choose you to be my soulmate. That's not gonna happen. You need to awaken yourself all the time. You're about to be lazy, you're about to... No, wake up. You need to find a way and strength to awaken yourself, to elevate yourself from the smallness, and really to understand what we're talking about here is that we, under the siege of the desire to receive for the self alone, our desire to influence is not yet free. It's still managed by the desire to receive for the self alone, by some agendas. I will do if I will want to influence, but what about me? When is going to come back to me? When most of us, our power to influence, which is the only way you can connect to your temple, is the only way you can work with your Creator, because it's only about influence. And when I come as the desire to receive that I have for myself, me, that temple is closed, the gates are locked, there's no God that connected to you. There's no way. There's no way. It's only when you open yourself to influence. Influence, I'm not talking about the likes and all of those things, real influence. Really, you see somebody is in trouble and you're really connected to them. And the influence goes there, not because it's like, they see me on TV and all of that. Real influence. Sometimes it's not going to come easy. Sometimes I need to force myself. In the beginning, you can't always force yourself to do things, because eventually you're going to resent. But sometimes, because I'm under the influence of selfishness, I need to no, enough with myself. I need to force myself right now to get out of myself and do something for everybody else. You know what? So, okay, next week, I'm doing a dinner for everybody else. I'm doing it. Get out of myself, right? Something, right? There are so many beautiful secrets here. And but I want to keep you connected, as much as we can. And then we're going to share some questions right now. But thank you for joining us, and have a beautiful rest of the month and the week.